I know everybody here has heard that saying, from trash to treasures, right? Well, you're about to see it, because this is one of those that when we as bonsai enthusiasts, we find something like this, it's like eureka, we struck gold all of a sudden, you know. And then the next guy doesn't have a clue that what it can be, because he's not into that or something, so he doesn't know to look beyond what's really there. And we find something like this that was 15 foot tall stick sticking straight up in the air, that wasn't really going anywhere. It wasn't getting any fertilizer, and had I'm going to say probably most of these, I can't say for sure on this particular one, but most of them, when I gathered these up, they had probably less than a cup of dirt in the pot. So they went hunting for their own sources, and they came out the bottom of the pot. There's where the roots were, that was big as a wrist. And coincidentally, when you find them like that, you have a lovely piece to work with, but it may take a little time to get it down to where you gotta be at work. Difficulty in a multitude of variety of species that we work with. Trident maples is one of the easiest to work with if you want something that fills out really nice, fairly quick, and you can get some really nice branching and get some really nice trunk size and things like that. That type of tree is one of the easiest to work with because it doesn't mind if you keep giving it a haircut. Then there's other kinds, take like for instance your standard rose. Everybody says, oh, well, I got a really nice rose, can I do that? Well, you can and you can't. Roses typically just do not like to have the roots fooled with. You can still do them, don't get me wrong, but you got to be really careful doing them. They, like I said, they don't like to have the roots fooled with.
What about like limb sensitivity? Like, which ones have stronger limbs? Like I was saying the other day with the junipers, like how I don't really like them because they're so sensitive. You bump it and the whole branch comes off.
As sensitive as it is, they and of course, even as I've been messing with plants for a lot of years, but even at that, you can goof up, and I'm not above being a goof up. I've done it. I've got a really super nice juniper down on the table. That's it's in intensive care, and it's probably getting ready to get its DOA because it's I took too much foliage off of them, and without thinking, I just took too much foliage off of it, and they gather all their strength from the foliage, more so than more so than from the roots. And so therefore, if you take away all the foliage, you've doomed it to either a life that's maybe or maybe not going to exist, or maybe it's just going to die flat out.
How about a beginner just starting out? What would you recommend they start with?
There's a lot of really nice stuff to work with. I typically think that the pines are wonderful, but if you take a class on pines, then it's not so bad. But if you don't take a class on pines, then you're probably going to have a little bit of a difficult time creating what you're actually looking for in that pine, because they are a little bit, you got to know when to cut them, when not to cut them, and where to cut them. It's like anything else. You have to learn what you're messing with. Probably ficuses are one of the best and easiest for a beginner to work with, because not only can you have them in the house, you know, they're really nice because if you happen to go on vacation and you're a long ways away from a bonsai nursery, you can take it over to Aunt Mabel's and leave it over there, and she can babysit it while you're gone for a week on vacation. and chances are you're not going to have any issues with it because ficuses are very, very strong trees, and they're one of the probably the easiest to work with. But just get rid of it. Things pointing down. The one that you do want pointing down is either a cascade or that's the main branch that's the main trunk is doing cascading. The ones that just following it, that's the stuff that but the ones that do go down would just be basically roots off a ficus. You need, if you're trying to do a banyan style ficus, you want those roots coming down. You need that for that look, that particular look that you're looking for. But otherwise, you really don't want to have branches pointing straight down or pointing straight out at you like this. That kind of gets, it's like they're getting all up in your personal space or something, and it's like, who are you? So you've got to kind of watch little things like that. But direction where you're putting the branches, and all the movement that you can put in it. If you see, every branch that I'm doing on this has lots and lots of back and forth movement to keep it. I call it singing. When the branches are moving back and forth like that, everything sings together that way. And to every tree, it's going to have its own particular piece of style that it's going to accept or not accept. A lot of people look at a tree and they're like, oh, why'd you do that with it? Well, if you particularly like this tree pointing this away, then there's no reason why you, as the artist, can't turn that tree and make that tree go that way, if that's what you want. If the tree's typically going a particular way and it interests you in the first place, there may be a reason why it interests you and you may want to leave it that way, but that's not saying you're bound to leave it that way. You can turn the tree upside down if you want to, as long as the roots are packed where they're supposed to be. So don't get limited by the fact that, oh, well, I really like that tree, but I want to kind of go the other way. Well, there's a lot of ways you can make it go the other way. So like I said, the raffia, you can use that. Just remember always. Now I'm gonna wire this branch back here. So I'm gonna have to borrow this branch over here for its stability. So I'm gonna lap onto that branch, trying to follow the same direction that the wires are going from before, so it doesn't look like it's haphazardly just kind of stuck out there in the way. But I don't need a really long lap around it. Just one good full circle or two, if you can get it. Two's better if you can get it. If you can't, then that's okay too. Notice I'm supporting the branch while and I'm pushing the wire tight to the tree with my thumb while I'm bringing that around to do this, because I don't want to have this wire over here. Now, has anybody ever tried to lift the teacher on the desk with the broom when they were in elementary school and when the teacher was teaching leverage? That's what you got to do. You got to have that leverage on there, or the wire out here might break the branch off over there. Yeah.
Do you see the image of what the tree is going to be when you start it, or you just go? You
see the tree as the tree is. You, as the artist, then can start picturing what you want the tree to be and start leaning it that direction. That doesn't mean that that tree will ever go that direction, but you can start leaning it that direction. And it's really nice if you have an issue with my wife. You tell her you're going to paint the room pink. She can't see that the room's pink until the room's pink. She has no, bless her heart, she has no visual perspective to see something before it's actually done. And there are people that are that way. So that's not to get discouraged and say, oh, well, I can't do this because I can't see beyond what's already there. What you can do is take your pencil and a paper. I'm not an artist. That doesn't matter. Kind of get an idea where you're going with it. with as few strokes with the pencil as you can. And the more you try to mess with the drawing, the more frustrated you're going to get. If you say, oh, I want the tree to swoop this way, then make a swoop that way with your pencil. And I see a branch over here, I want a branch to come that way. Make a swoop with the branch this way. Come up and try to make your branches do this. Starting with your first and your second, and stair step them right up the tree. So draw yourself a picture. If you can't see it before you're working on it, draw yourself a picture. Some people, like myself, I can picture it in my mind what I'd like for it to be when I'm done. And I've broken up branches. Don't be discouraged if you break a branch. Everybody does. I've broken my share of. Jason's broken his share of. We all do it. It happens. It's nothing to get discouraged about. Learn from what you did. Why did I break it? Did I bend it where I was supposed to? Was the wire behind my bend? Or did I go next to it? Oh, why did I bend it there? Learn from your mistakes. Don't think that just because you had a mistake that it's a mistake that you got to live with.